What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Crazy Thursday. Crazy markets right now. Everybody is wondering, why is Bitcoin dumping? Why? Why is this happening? Even Mike Novogratz, the billionaire himself, is saying this wasn't supposed to happen. Why is this happening? Everybody's coming up with all kinds of theories and reasons as to why this is happening. And today, we're going to dig into the nitty gritty details. Okay, we weren't going to come to you live, but of course, I said if something happens in the market, you better believe we're going to make time for you guys and we're going to be here for you guys because it's an important update, right? You guys want to know what is happening with Bitcoin, what's going to happen with altcoins, and you want to be able to get the best information you can in order to navigate this market a little bit better. It's been a crazy market at that. And yeah, I want to go over some of the theories today, a little bit of fundamental, but also a whole lot of charts because as you know, it's show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. Now, the curious thing is we haven't really had a major news piece to come out and say, oh, right, that was the pandemic or that was a war or whatever it is. There's just a whole lot happening in the world right now. As you know, the Epstein files, we've got tensions in Iran. We have got, we're on the verge of a government shutdown. We've got a lot of things happening. I think it's sort of like the Great Awakening year and the Great Cleansing year in the world, right? We've got a lot of things we need to clean up, get better, including crypto. A lot of major leverage has been washed out. A lot of coins hit their October low liquidation wicks. And by the way, I'm going to add, although people are really fearful in the market right now, and righteously so, it's understandable. Not everybody is in the hive, guys, right? Not everybody has an analyst like Rob to be their mentor. And it's sort of like very scary when you open the chart and you look and you see, wow, one big giant red candle. Although I will say, if you are a long-term investor, the very sweetest spot is about to be hit, and that is the 200-week SMA. It's around $59,200 right about now, and that is a very, very historically good time to buy. But is it time to buy yet, or will we go lower? Are we in the beginning of a bear market? Are we coming out of it? We're going to answer all of those questions today on this stream, as well as is it a good time to start looking at altcoins, or is it way too early? Will we get a bounce? We're going to go over everything the charts say, because yesterday we left off with the stablecoin dominance chart. And we said, watch this chart like a hawk, because if this thing starts pumping, Bitcoin's going to start dumping and vice versa. So we'll give you an update on that as well. And just on the news, guys, not a whole lot of news that could have moved the markets, but I'll tell you what this market feels like right about now. If you guys can relate, I mean, we're going to need a crypto and cocktails day tomorrow, because this is just pretty much, oops, sorry, I got a video up there still. This is just pretty much how the entire market feels right now, right? It's like buy the dip, and this is the 5th dip this week. And will the dip stop? That's the problem. Will it stop? Is this going to continue? Do we buy now? What's happening? So there are two debates on the macro scale. I just want to check really quick and see if there's any other major updates we've got to give you guys. But I mean, Michael Saylor hits 4.5 billion in unrealized losses in his Bitcoin investment. It is a stress test. Okay. Vitalik is selling a lot of his ETH. Binance founder says, CZ says he's poor again. And last time he posted this was when Bitcoin dropped from 67 to 30K-ish. Did all right in the end. Yeah, that's right. So before I go over this debate, I just want to remind you guys that Bitcoin has died many, many times in the news and in the cycles. And it has always been revived and thrived and gone better than ever, right? So one thing, a mentor of mine and a friend of mine, Tim Draper, who happens to be a Bitcoin billionaire who invested in Bitcoin at $600, it dropped 50%. And I tell the story a lot because I want people to get it in their minds, that like, if you have conviction and if you believe in this technology, then, if you have a long-term bag, just try not to get in your head too much. Just leave it alone, and then now hone into what we're saying on the show, and then make different decisions going forward. Hopefully you can time your entries a little bit better with some of these mechanical rules. But if you believe in technology, it's either going to zero or it's going to infinity. That was his mentality when his 30,000 Bitcoin that he purchased went down by 50% in the same week. Okay. So we got to stomach these, buy the dips that make you sick, as our old mentor used to say. And that's what we're doing. Some of the dips make you sicker than others, and those are probably even the better ones to buy. But as far as any other news here, basically no new developments. We've just been getting FUD, a lot of information on how everybody's Tom Lee's Bitmine, his treasury is down, ETH treasury down hard. Michael Saylor, and that is true. In bear markets, we get stress tests and we figure out which projects are going to survive and which ones were propped up by thin air and just noise, right? So that is one thing. But as always, we're going to be looking at the charts and we're going to be looking at the trending coins, seeing if there's any altcoins, hidden gems in the mix. Again, I want to shout out to the real ones who are here each and every day. Jeannie, like clockwork. What's up? I love those emojis. I love them. Love them. And Almanim, haven't seen you in a while, but what's up, man? What's up? What's up with everybody today? Yeah, it's a crazy day. Let's start with smiles. Whatever situation will make it happen together. I love that, Almanim. That is amazing vibes. You know what I did today? I've been working all day. It's raining here in Spain. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're doing, but I hit the gym twice. I am like doubling down on my workouts now. I'm like, man, this is the time I need to be focused. I need to work on myself and my, my fitness. And I need to just like I always feel like I make better decisions and I think more clearly when I do that. So do something that makes you feel good and just keep the positive vibes flowing because it's going to be okay. That's one thing I will tell you. It is going to be okay. And the fact that we're getting down to that 200 moving average so fast, I think is a good thing rather than just a slow bleed down. Almanim says, CZ poor. Damn, these limit of lying. I think he overcrossed it. Yeah, I think the point there that CZ was trying to say was that he sort of called that it was near the bottom last time. I think that's the point he's trying to make. But yeah, CZ being poor does not resonate with any of us. So guys, back to the debate now. So Raoul Pal, I'm going to play you a clip now. He's an esteemed macroeconomic investor, right? And he's always talking about the business cycles. And this was one of my theories. And it still piques my interest, okay? It's that the liquidity cycle is lagging because of the pandemic, and that really we haven't seen that real injection of capital yet. And so he is arguing that actually this is a 5-year cycle and Bitcoin will peak this year. And then we're going to have a look at why the charts actually show that the 4-year cycle could be just right on time. So I'm going to play this clip for you so you get some perspective, and then we'll get into the charts with Rob.
Sort of not wildly off to the races yet. And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin, and it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4-year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4-year cycle in everything. And we've explained it, and we'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation, but basically it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt. We've talked about this. That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other other time? It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt.
So I'm not going to play the rest of this whole thing, guys, but just to get a gist of it, he's saying that we're catching up to the ISM cycle, the business cycle, and that we're just lagging behind a little bit. And that's fundamentally why we are not on the 4-year cycle anymore. We are now on a 5-year cycle, and we will peak this year for Bitcoin. That is his theory, and that is a lot of macro economist theories, right? So that's one food for thought. Now, the other side of the table is this, right? This is just an image of all the previous cycles and the previous bear cycles. And it's just showing you, that this particular opinion here is that, it's just doing more of the same thing. It's just confirming the 4-year cycle to a T, and nothing new, nothing to see here. And we are just at the beginning of this, and which typically takes about 200 days to play out. That's what he's showing here. So those are the two opinions. Now, lastly, I'm going to show you the Wall Street cheat sheet, and I want you to tell me, where do you think we are in this cheat sheet? Because I am seeing wildly different answers across the board. This is one that just popped up in one of the groups that I'm in, and it's like, well, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be looking like we're on this side of the Wall Street cheat sheet, more in the other side of the cheat sheet with quite a ways to go. But let me know what you guys think in the audience, where you think we're at in this cheat sheet. What do you think is going to be the trajectory here? And while you're thinking about that, we're going to have Rob up, because we're going to dig into those charts and answer and calm all of your fears, right? Okay, because we just need answers. We need information, and the charts never lie. So let's go ahead and bring up Rob. Rob, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good today. Just finally got home from the doctor's office and doing that type of fun stuff. So,
Yeah, you didn't miss much. Bitcoin only, dropped off the cliff and
ah,
almost hit the 200 week. But yeah, other than
I
that, it's
made
been a
those
calm day.
shorts in group, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. And guys, oh, I forgot to mention, as always, we were nailing the shorts in the hive. Um, as usual, I mean, we've got so many different things to show you and updates, but Rob was in there giving his updates, and man, it was a good day for shorts. If you did get in, congratulations. I know a lot of us were getting in Plume as well, and different charts that we posted. So it was a great day for that. And these kind of days, you can make money.
Yeah, when I was going to the doctor's office, a lot of them were like down on the very like high time frame support. So I'd actually close my shorts a little bit early because I wasn't able to watch them when I went to the doctor's office. And everything's down lower now. But I actually was just looking at the charts. Alts aren't down that bad. I was just looking at like Bitcoin's down like 14% and altcoins are down like 15%. So on a ratio compared to like Bitcoin, usually like whenever Bitcoin drops like this, you're looking at like 30-40% pullbacks on alts in a single day. And so in that context, alts are holding up really well right now, in my opinion. And Bitcoin dominance has also dropped off the cliff too. That's why.
It's an interesting observation. So alts are holding up stronger than they have during previous dips. Now, it'd be interesting to see how alts did at the same time in the other previous 4-year cycles, right? If they were getting hit harder or not, because that would give us a clue as to if something is kind of like shifting here, which we hinted at in yesterday's live.
Yeah, so yeah, well, maybe I'll check that out after a live today and actually do a little bit more deeper analysis on that one there and see what kind of
Right.
happened in history. But like, as soon as I was kind of like disappointed. I closed up some of my shorts too early. I just didn't move my stop losses up like I normally do. But again, I was going to be in the doctor's office. I was in great profit. I was up like 2x. I was up significantly on a lot of things, and I don't want to give back my gain. So I even explained that in my long video. I'm like, I just don't want to give it back because I can't sit there and watch charts because I'm going to be in doctor's offices and stuff. And
Right.
What's
That's when you have to adapt your trading style based on what's happening in your life, right? Profits are profits. You can never be upset about taking profits, especially if you're not going to be able to watch the charts during such a volatile time as now. So, we're locking in profits no matter what, although Rob does help us move our stops up when it's time and teach us how to do that as well. But like there's a style to adapt to everybody's type of life and how much time you have to dedicate and whether you have things to do. So that's another thing to highlight here.
Yeah. So basically, like whenever I did that, I came back home. I sat there and looked at the altcoins, and I'm sitting there. And they're not even hitting my full take profits yet. I'm sitting there looking. I'm like, so I'm not like really upset anymore. I'm like, I haven't hit my whole take profits. What's going on here? And I looked at Bitcoin dominance. It's fallen off a cliff. I'm sitting there going, heck, you could just short Bitcoin and been the same amount of profits with a very high capital and been very good on this pullback as well too. So it's just it's. As somebody who trades both ways, I was kind of disappointed on how small the altcoin pullback was.
Right. Yeah. To put it like that. Yeah. Because you would think you would be smashing the gains while Bitcoin's doing some sort of move like this. And it hasn't really been the case to the extent that it has in the past.
Yes.
So, and Zach, you're right about USDT dominance. In fact, it's all stablecoin dominance. It's just flying. And we said yesterday in yesterday's live, have a look out for this, because if it fakes out, then maybe we're going to get, a bounce for Bitcoin here. And if not, then we'll be looking for Bitcoin to continue on further down.
Yeah,
And in
that's
fact,
on the game right now. Like that right there, like that should be your main chart of always watching. Just sitting there, like let's wait for that reversal, wait for that. Like right now, it's just going parabolic. So blow off top, maybe USDT. I just looked at that one. It's at all time. It's in the all time high zone, and it's just like okay, this is very yeah. It like blow off top. What's that going to mean if all the money's going in? So money's not going into Bitcoin. Money's not going into altcoins. It's apparently going into stable coins.
right.
If it's all going to stable coins, it's going to all come back out of stable coins at some point. So
I like your thinking. I like your thinking, guys. Silver linings here on the show. Take a breather. Just rest, relax, stay level-headed. It's going to be okay. And Rob, everybody wants to know. I know there's a lot of macro investors in my circle, and they're just ready to buy. Is now the time. Is now the time. We're here on the 200-week moving average. So we're going to dig into the charts and hopefully get some clarity on some Bitcoin levels to watch now as well. So let's pull that up now.
all right. So let's just go ahead and jump into the charts, which I was just charting up for the group since I got back home here. The first thing that I noticed here, I'm going to go ahead and delete all the lines on here. So we're very close to the weekly SMA 200 right here. And we are also in this bullish order block on the 1 week, and it's also a bullish order block on the 3-day as well too. And we're hitting a 3-day bullish order block right here, or sorry, fair value gap on the weekly, and a bullish order block on the 3-day. So we're coming into this strong support that we haven't been down into since 2024. So getting some kind of bounce right here, I mean, would not be surprising at all. Especially something else I'll point out here, going in the 3-day chart, which I posted in group as well too. We have the Stosh RSI down all the way to lows, and we also got confluence with that down to the 12-hour chart, which is something else I look for. But this is something else I really look for as well too, which we posted in group as well. Is whenever I did post this, we were at we were at the lows basically on the RSI here, the very lows we ever came for before since like COVID-19 basically. So we are at the COVID-19 lows and bear market bottom lows. So right over here. So we had a bear market. So we had right here. So this is what I was looking at right here. So we had a bear market rally last time we were hitting these lows from last bear market, which is right here.
Interesting.
So it wasn't the bottom. You would sit there and say, all right, it's at this kind of low right here. We're just hitting that level right now, basically. And we had a bear market rally, and then it rolled over. And this is for me, this is a good thing. Like, so I'm expecting some kind of bear. I don't think bottom's in. I'm expecting some kind of bear market rally. That's what the chart's telling me that could be happening next. But then it's going to roll over again. And whenever that does happen, that's going to be a good thing with the RSI, because the RSI, whenever it rolls over again, I'm going to put another orange line for the very bottom here. And we want this RSI to get as low as possible right now. Like the goal now, we want to see the lower the RSI, the better. Because whenever it comes, when we get that rally and then it rolls over again and the price action rolls over, the price action is usually going to go make a new low, but the RSI is going to start making higher lows if the RSI is already down at like maximum lows. And that there is going to create bullish divergence. So that's something that we're going to be wanting to see. We want to see this RSI. The lower, the better, in my opinion. I think the lowest we ever been was right over here, which is 16, and that was the 2017 bottom on the 3-day RSI. So very, very big levels on the RSI up in the higher time frames, 3-day. We want to see this things get a little bit lower. So next time we come down and we make a new low on Bitcoin from this level we're at now, in my opinion, like I said, I believe we'll get a bear market rally, then come down, make a new low, and we will start printing bullish divergence if we have that.
That's an interesting playbook there. So which cycle do you think this is more similar to out of the previous cycles?
As of right now, I have to go with 2017 or the 2018 bear market. Why? Because, all right, these are the two MAs right here, which I was just looking at. This is to do a 100-day and the 200-day or 200-week and 100-week, weekly chart. And as soon as we lost the weekly SMA 100, we started having a drop, and it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 weeks in order to get down to the weekly SMA 200. So it was a pretty fast drop, but it took some time. We had some bounces in there, you know what I mean? Some bounces you could trade. And then whenever you go into the 2018, we lost the weekly 100 right there, and it was basically 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2 candles. We were close to where 2 to 3 candles we were at the 200 week MA 200, but just one giant candle like we're getting right now.
Right. Yeah. So it looks a little bit more similar to that, and the speed at which this is happening.
Yeah, the velocity we're dropping at just like 2017, basically going off of that. And that was, I think, the only cycle we had that kind of drop. Like this one here, you lost it, took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles right there, and they were small candles. We're in giant one green ones here. So it's just one of those things where I could sit there and say that the way that we're dropping and the amount, how big the candles are, the velocity we're at right now is kind of like 2017. So we'll be looking, we might, like if you look right here, we have there's a wick on this one right here. So we went up, had a little bit of green. That's maybe what our bear market rally will look like that we have. Hopefully a little bit bigger, because where was the RSI at that point? It wasn't down all the way. So when we closed that candle there, the RSI wasn't down all the way at the lows, but it was pretty low. So we'll be looking for something like that in general. And we have the Stosh RSI down there as well too. All the different time frames that I'm looking for.
That's really interesting. So let's go back to these two orange lines here. So let's just get an idea percentage wise. What was the bounce on the first bounce, and then how much further down did it go after it rolled over the second time?
So from here, the first bounce, the total bounce was actually 43%. That was a 43% bear market rally.
Okay. All right. So pretty decent, guys.
Yep. So then we pulled back all the way down to the very bottom was 38%. So 38% drop off there. So let's go
But
with
from the first bottom, how much further down was the second bottom? Let's get an idea of that.
right here.
Yeah.
So right there, we are looking at 17%.
Okay. So it's an interesting metric to have, right? Like, let's say we hit that 200 week and we sort of bottom out there and we bounce from there, maybe a little bit lower. Then if we're going to have anything similar to this cycle, maybe a 20% drawback after that. And the point here is that if that is the case, we're very close to the lows, maybe not time wise, but price wise, perhaps.
Yeah. You'd be very close to lows, perhaps on the price range here. And also, too, like the bear market rally, if we get one here, would fill up the fair value gap, even if we went all the way down here. So it's measured a 40% move to the upside from here. So if we did the same percentage move to the upside on a bear market rally, which those can happen very easily as well, too, because you're going to think about it right now. What would happen is buyers come in, push this price up. We get up to and starts going up here. People get denial. They short. They get squeezed. And then it makes things blow up and it becomes a giant short squeeze basically up to that area. And we can have that kind of happen. And 43% would fill up this fair value gap and probably maybe get us close up to, we still got that CME gap up there. So we could get close to fill up that CME gap as well too, with that kind of percentage move. Say if we just say that we don't quite touch the 200 right here, and we just go off of right where we're at right now. Say this fair value gap is the bottom. And 3-day order block, that gives us enough room to move up and fill up the CME gaps that we have up here.
Right. So that would be, what's the price level more or less where the CME gap is?
I do not remember. I just know it's there.
Right. No, it was 84.5, I believe.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Right. So these are actually really interesting stats, and they are very much like the ones that we just mapped out there with the orange lines, that cycle there. And so we have Sri Harutai, sorry, I'm butchering your name. I think more downside after a bounce, 57K or 61K bear rally than 40K. Yeah, so I'd just be interesting to know where you're getting your stats from and why you're thinking that way, just because it's interesting for analysis. But this is like the most accurate analysis I think we can give, is comparing the RSI. I really like that approach, how low it is, to get sort of a perspective in that we are pandemic RSI lows almost right now.
And
right?
I think we're lower than the pandemic actually already.
Wow.
Let's look at the pandemic. So let's go ahead and I'm going to make these a little bit smaller right here so we can actually see it a little bit. But I believe we actually just went underneath pandemic lows on the RSI. Right. So that makes it even better, because there hasn't been a big event for people to point to and say, oh, see, that's why this is happening. So, the lower the RSI goes right now, as Rob said, the better, because then we could potentially get that bullish divergence the next time around, right, for the second retest. So this is actually good news. It's good news that it's happening so quickly. And, will we catch up with that liquidity cycle and that macro cycle? Will it line up with what Raoul Pal says? Maybe. The timing part on this is the hardest part. If it's the 4-year cycle, then probably we should expect not anything until, new bull market starting until the end of the year, right? But if we are having an extended cycle and this is some sort of anomaly, then maybe we get a pump in Q2. Let's see. But more than likely right now, as it stands, it looks like it's following the 4-year cycle. Yeah, I mean, I'm going off the 4-year cycle right now just because if it's working, why try changing it? If it works until it doesn't anymore. So I'm going to go with it. So right here is the low of the so I'm going to move it right here so we can see it. So right here is our low of the RSI for the COVID-19 crash. That's the white line, and we are underneath it. So we are on the 3-day chart. So let's go ahead. Let's look at the weekly chart, see if we're under it. Weekly chart, we are, so right here, we are under it on the weekly chart as well too. Let's see at the 2-week. 2-week, we are under it. I never actually done it this way before. It's actually the first time I've ever done it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
1 day. Where's my red line? All right, that's might be too far back for me to put all on one screen. Oh, nope, I can still see it. So 1 day, we are right at it on the 1 day. Okay. But 1 day I was in that level. So I think it's more amazing that we're on the 1 week, the 3-day chart. I think, did I say 2 week as well too?
Yeah. I believe you did.
Yeah, we are underneath it on 2 weeks, 1 week, and 1 day. We are underneath the RSI on the COVID-19 dip.
Wow, which is even more significant, you guys, because do you remember how much fear and dumping and selling was in the market then? I mean, it was just like panic, pure sheer panic mode. I'm sure you guys can all remember that. And it was just like everyone was just like, what just hit me? What's happening? And we're lower than that sentiment at that time, lower momentum, like, right? Like it's just insane. So that's something to keep in mind. And I think that's actually a good thing on our side. Now, a lot of people
good things just because of the whole bullish divergence idea. So say if we do have that bear market rally and we come back down, we make new lows, there's a higher probable chance now we're going to be making bullish divergences. So you got to think 2 or 3 steps ahead. Like, all right, yes, we're going to rally at some point. Yes, we're going to come back down and potentially make a new low. But is that going to make a new low on the RSI? And we get a potential chance of having high time frame bullish divergence, which is going to be awesome for long-term holders for a signal to buy or to get there and get on a good bounce and maybe get some spot bags in, and we'll get some good leverage longs at the time as well too.
Right, absolutely. And I see a lot of people in the comments here and on X, talking about 30 to 40K price targets. And I guess that's the thing we need to go over next is, how low can we go here? Like, what are some of the things that we've seen in previous cycles, or what patterns are you looking at, Rob, to where could we go from here?
I mean, the first one, the simplest one would be to doing. Let me see what algorithm I'm in. Let's go ahead and go out of the log scale. I mean, if you're using simple Fibonacci's, which a lot of people do in the market, and I think it's a good thing to use as well too. So just go from your all-time highs from your all-time lows for that cycle. We have broke the 0.5. We're getting close to the 618, which is 618 is $57,000. We have and the 702, that's a very big one as well too. That is 48,373. And we have the 0. So that's where people are getting the 40,000 from. Probably a lot of people are saying 40,000, just probably due to this Fibonacci level. Like I said, it's the most simplest thing in the world. We're going to put a line right there. That's right about $40,000. If I get it perfect on there, if I see if I can. But that's at 39,000, like something like that. So the $40,000 price range right here, there people are just using. I mean, I just made it very simple. They went from the lows all the way to the highs. That's where people are coming in with the $40,000. And yes, of course, that would be a normal retracement from this kind of move here. So that wouldn't be anything out of the normal on this type of move.
Right. I think what kind of percentage-wise would that be?
Percentage-wise from the very top. We are looking at about a 68% pullback.
Right. Yeah.
Which is normal in Bitcoin, right?
It's normal. Maybe we would expect a shallower pullback due to, the conditions being different, but maybe not, guys. But that would be what we've seen in previous cycles, more or less. That's a 78% there on the last cycle.
Yeah, so it is actually shallower by some percentage. By 10%.
Yeah. And also, a lot of people are talking about the head and shoulders pattern, which I think also puts us somewhere around, even lower levels. So, there's a lot of people coming up with a lot of different price levels. So just know that those levels are potentially in play. But for right now, just because everybody wants to know, I guess you're gonna do the measured move on that head and shoulders.
Yeah, let's look at it, see what it does. So
Yeah.
I'm just doing this for that's kind of the neckline area. It kind of falls somewhere right in that line as well too, depending where you want to make it. I could sit there and see how multiple necklines could be kind of made depending on what time frame you're looking at. Let's look at the weekly time frame. Technically, the neckline will be here, so it depends on where you want to make your neckline. So some people want to draw it this way. I'm not really I don't like drawing head and shoulders with a diagonal neckline because then it really messes with where you put everything at. So I'm actually sit there and look at different time frames at a different time on that one there. Let's go with the Fibonacci pullback as of right now. That's just very solid. You can't fake that one. You can't manipulate it. There is no way to manipulate these Fibonacci's like this to meet these levels right here. It's going from the high to the very low using wicks. Like anybody can replicate that one there. There ain't no it's what the chart's telling you. You can't see anything else. I could kind of manipulate the price range on a head and shoulders as of right now, the way I'm looking at it.
Pure math. Also, what I find interesting is that the 618, the golden pocket for Bitcoin, is just right around that 200 SMA weekly. Right.
Yep.
So that's a lot of confluence there and a lot of support at that level. And guys, we are so close to being there. I mean, it's pretty wild. So that brings us to the next point. A lot of people we already covered, if you're wanting to buy now, well, potentially we could have that second retest or rollover. So, if it's for a long-term investment, you might get a much better entry. If you're a trader, then what will we be looking for in order to maybe potentially get a long in on Bitcoin?
potentially you could start like, so right now we're at a 3-day bullish order block, and I wouldn't be scared to sit there and say for low leverage, if you're, so as a trader, most likely going to be using low leverage in my opinion, or leverage at some point. If you're going to be using low leverage, I couldn't sit there and say, hey, we could scale in on this bullish order block right here, start scaling in. And then if we get a little bit, we could have our stop losses underneath that one. And then if we only get some positions filled up, we will look for the break of, let's go ahead and see what the 1-day 9's at. We don't have the 9 up. Let's go ahead and change this to the 9. That's really far up there. So we're going to zoom in for the 12-hour chart. I would say look for the break of the 4-hour 9s due to knowing where we are at, just because everything's just so oversold. And so I do have oversold bounce rules in in the group as well too. And we are basically getting into that zone where I said that's where I want to look for an oversold bounce. That's using 3-day, 1-day, and 12-hour time frame, and they are all lining up to be with the Stosh RSI, which now I'll pull up. Let's go ahead and look at it. Not that one. So this RSI right here, Stosh RSI, we are now on the 3-day down to low. So I've been kind of waiting for that right here to get all the way down to lows. We need this to curve over and start pointing up though. And then if this is the low, we don't get any lower entries on here, what we would look for is the break probably of the 12-hour SMA 9 with this pointing up and going down, and the other one starting to kind of follow it as well too. And then we can start scaling upwards as well too. So it's about making money in the middle with confluence and with confirmation. So once we start breaking that 12-hour SMA 9, I'll probably start looking to, if I start scaling in right here, I'll add more even higher as well too, and start buying up as well too, just due to we're getting the confirmations and you're DCAing up to your take profit area, which in my opinion is going to be that fair value gap in the 1-week chart. I honestly think that we're going to come back up here, and once we get up to here, we might stall out a little bit, or that's where we start getting our short squeeze, where everybody's going to, so if we get back up to this level of 70K and everybody's going to be looking for a bearish retest, but that's where we can look for the potential idea of people opening up shorts and then getting squeezed and getting back up here quickly and then rolling over. But again, we'll just take it one level at a time and one signal at a time.
Right. No, I like that a lot. So you're saying potentially to start scaling it on 3-day order block. For those who can't see, what price range is that at right around now?
Let's go ahead and delete all this so we can see it nice and clear. So that
we want to get you guys the answers. We want to give you the alpha and the information to be able to go home and make better decisions and have everything on the table. Okay.
So that price range is from $63,000 down, or $62,151 down to $58,820.
Right.
So it's right with the 1-week SMA 200. There is a higher. So there's another order block down here as well too. So you can kind of, if you want to, I mean, if you do low leverage on this, you probably could scale in on a 5% scale in. So you look at it that way. So you sit there and say, all right, this is a 5% area. So if you're using 5x leverage or whatever, you have to do your math and you sit there and say, I want to buy a little bit here. I want to buy a little bit here. I want to have my biggest buys right here. And I want my stop losses where on whatever I feel is understandable for losing on whatever, or something like that. So something like that.
Right.
What was that? But also too, I think we were talking about the other day, Bitcoin longs.
Yes. That was another interesting chart we looked at on this channel that I haven't seen anybody else analyze in this way. So these are all like very interesting and important parts of the puzzle. So let's definitely have a look at that again. And I see Sri Haru Tai is ready to buy low at 30 to 40K. See, here's the problem for me. I'm seeing everybody saying that now. And that just makes me feel like maybe that's not going to happen because everybody's placing orders down there, waiting for it to hit down there. I mean, you know, Bitcoin always does like to do the opposite of what everybody thinks. Again, it doesn't matter what my opinion is, but I am seeing that around now. The other thing is, once prices do get down that low, everybody says they're going to be buying, and then there's so much fear that they're waiting to see if it goes even lower. So that's the problem with trying to catch a falling knife, as Rob calls it, right? And trying to judge where the bottom may be. If you're a long-term investor, probably a phenomenal, I mean, I know it's a phenomenal buy. If you're a trader, now you know the rules to look for. Right now, we're looking for Bitcoin to break the 4-hour 9 since we're so extremely oversold and potentially get the bounce off that.
Yeah, because like the 4-hour, the 1-day SMA 9 so far above to where if we did get a sharp V bounce, we will miss a very big portion before we broke the 1-day 9. So there's times that when you're drastic, when they are so far apart Sometimes it's okay to front run it, in my opinion, but you still got to be careful. You still look for lower time frames type of stuff. So
Right.
yeah, this is Bitcoin longs here, and we were looking to see if we were get rejected right here at this level here, and now it looks like we're breaking it. So people are still buying longs on Bitcoin longs in Bitfinex, so they're still stacking. They've been buying for a long time. Let's go ahead and pull up the other chart with this so you guys can kind of see it visually. So as you can see, whenever Bitcoin goes down, this goes up. Whenever Bitcoin's going up, which I'll put a line right here, I had a nice chart made for this, but I always delete my charts and remake them. You can see how when this was going down, Bitcoin was going up. That means people were taking profits on Bitcoin as Bitcoin's going up. Whenever Bitcoin's going down, people are loading up on it. So they are still buying the dip. They are still adding to their positions. So they are dollar cost averaging. They are adding to, which is now has to be. They've been doing that since basically up in these levels in here. So once it started reversing, it got up to here. This is whenever they started basically adding to their positions. They were buying all-time highs, and they just kept on buying all the way down here.
Right. Yeah. So that's an interesting correlation there, or something to look at, right? That we look at along with the stablecoin dominance, USDT dominance, and everything else that we've been analyzing here today. So now you've got sort of like a good idea of what's going to be happening with altcoins. And one of the things we're going to be keeping you updated on in the group in real time is, hey, when is that bounce potentially going to start happening, and which altcoins are trending? Which altcoins look strong? And we'll go over that in a minute. But look at this chart. Wow. USDT dominance is just flying, guys, flying.
Yeah, that's up in a 3-day bearish order block right now, and it's at the highs right now. Like, I think I said to myself one day, I was just talking to myself while I was making charts. I think I said to myself, if US dominance ever goes up in this area, I'm going to buy. I didn't write it down though. I remember saying that to myself. So that might be a way to look at it right now. Like if you want to start looking at taking buys, sitting there and saying, hey, we're at the all-time highs on USDT, and whenever we were down here breaking this area, whenever everybody was all bullish and sitting there and say, oh, things are going to be going to the moon, we're going lower. If you're sitting there looking, I'm like, man, I wish it was up to here and I could buy again when it was up to here. Well, it is. It's back up to here. So it's one of those areas where you can sit there and say, be looking at potentially buying a dip here soon.
Right. No, we're very, very, very close, guys. We're about to smash the 200-week SMA. So it's all happening very quickly, and you got to stay alert. You got to be alert, because when that bounce happens, you want to be able to ride that wave and get those longs in. And we are going to be keeping you updated in the group. We have our eye on some trending coins right now, and we've been smashing the shorts today. So we got a lot of people tuning into the group today. I just want to remind you that we do have a link for the Hive VIP trading group with all of Rob's setups that everybody's been like crushing it with. You guys still have access to that for free. I want to remind you, for probably about a week and a half longer, maybe not even that, until we get our website up. So join. The link is in the description below. It'll send you to our verification bot, our support channel that explains, you're going to be sent to BYDFI, our trusted exchange of choice. You sign up with your Gmail, no need to even KYC. And then you copy and paste your user ID, and you're in the group. And we're over 500 members now, going strong. And it's such a great community. We got such good vibes, and we're updating it all day, every day. It's super motivating, and it really is a great group. So you've got to join now. It is an absolute no-brainer. We are also giving you $100 bonus for any deposit, which is pretty unheard of. $5, $10, whatever it is, transfer it to your futures account. You'll get that bonus. If you haven't had your bonus, we've had a lot of new members sign up lately. Do let us know in the support channel, or DM us, or find us in Discord, and we'll get you settled. Okay. But now is the time, guys. Don't wait, because this is a very urgent update. If all of a sudden Bitcoin starts flipping or something starts happening, we're going to be updating you in a group. We might not be able to come here on YouTube, and you're not going to know what's going on. You're going to miss an insane opportunity. You do not want to miss this. And Crypto and Cocktails is supposed to be tomorrow. So I'm trying to make that happen. I have to readjust a few things, because we love our Crypto and Cocktails edition. But other than that, we might have a lot of things happen over the weekend. You've got to be in the group, because this is very, very important. Maybe one of the most important moments for Bitcoin this cycle, right? So do make sure that you do that. So it's coming down to the trend line. That's right. We're about to hit the 200-week moving average. Randall, Says theta to a penny, man. I mean, I'm telling you, things are looking juicy. Like I was telling Rob, and Rob was saying too earlier, it's very hard to just hold on and not buy altcoins at this moment, because you're just looking at it like, wow, this is, if you have conviction in projects or you want to stack for the long term, it's like all-time lows, right? It's like, wow, how do I restrain myself? Because a lot of the coins are lower than even 2 cycles ago. So if you still had conviction in them now, the same as you had back then, I mean, it's looking juicy. So Rob, that brings us to the next question. But first, we've got another chart. Actually, I want to go over this with you guys because this is one of the charts in our course that we'll be explaining as well. But we're going to talk a little bit about altcoins and the plan for altcoins after that.
Yeah. So this is your typical. This is your basic. We did it 2 days ago or whatever, but I think it's still important to mention because everybody's sitting there making up theories on whatever. And I like sitting there saying, all right, this is the 4-year cycle. It's been working ever since it's been started and spotted. And this is just whenever the after the green here is the end of take profit right here. And then this yellow dot, it's all based off time. It's whenever you start getting the DCA into Bitcoin again for the next halving run. And it's worked out very well. So we can sit there whenever if you pull this indicator up, I'll do that later on. But it's just, we still have time. So time-wise, we still have time to make new lows, or say if this does become the bottom right here, and it just makes some kind of cup or some reversal or accumulation stuff right here for a while, we could do that as well too. This cycle has been a lot different than the other ones and price action-wise. So I'll sit there and say, don't expect the exact same things as before. Be ready for anything. So just, I want to keep that as well too. But this thing, the 4-year cycle has been holding true ever since. So
right. So we should get the yellow dot potentially when it's the first best time to buy, right? Or how do the dots work?
Yeah, whenever, yeah. So it's all based off time. So the yellow dot, it should come on typically about 385 days. It's typically your first time you buy for your DCA.
Right. So where are we at now?
We are at 91 days.
Okay. So this chart potentially shows we've got quite a ways to go, although we could be in that phase of the first bottoming out before we get a bounce, before, we roll over the second time, which Rob explained that would be a good thing if we, came down in price, but we had a stronger RSI to build that bullish divergence. So,
yes. So there will be a bounce. I mean, every bear market, there has been bounces, and this pullback's so significant that there got to be a bounce at some point. It's just not I think I posted on my X account, don't try catching a falling knife like a week ago. And it's like, yeah, don't try catching a falling knife, because if you did try catching any of these moves to the downside and tried longing them, you basically just got wrecked on any setup.
Right. We have Niche Fan in here saying another 40K on the table. We got a lot of people talking about 40K here. Makes me suspect it's not going to happen. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Banks look like they are shaking people out. Yeah, that's another narrative. Actually, it's kind of funny. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, was on a panel with Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan. And basically, Brian Armstrong was talking about how the banks were messing up crypto and Bitcoin. And I think it was Jamie Dimon. He said, "You're full of shit." Like literally in Davos at the WEF, like just like cussing at him. And it's just like, wow, the world is nuts right now. Okay. The world is totally crazy. They're not ready. One thing I know is the banks, they're not ready to embrace this yet. They're not ready for what's hitting them. I mean, they've just been in control for so long and had this profitable wheel of a machine working for so long that now there's a lot of things coming in that threaten that. And so, yeah, we've got a lot. They keep saying the Clarity Act is right there. We're about to pass it. We're about to pass it. But what? Until we pass it, I feel like we're just going to be in this area where we're ranging and, down and to the right until, something happens. So, yeah, and they will want to accumulate. That's another thing. So now we've got Elio asking the golden question: when should we buy Bitcoin? At what price? And when do we buy ETH? So that is the $1 million question. We've been talking here, Elio, on some important levels for Bitcoin, key levels. So we might get a bounce here soon if you're just tuning in, but that might not be, and often is not, the bottom. So catching a falling knife is tough. So we went over the sort of like reversal sign. So it's better to get a little bit worse of an entry if you're a trader and wait for those confirmations on reversals. But if you're a long-term investor, I mean, we're getting right into that value range. Although even after we hit the 200-week moving average, what we've said is we could even go down another 20% from there per previous cycles, right? So, right, that would put us at, mid 50s, early 50s and such. So do you have to pay attention to that? ETH, as far as ETH, I don't think we've looked at the Ethereum chart yet.
I mean, ETH's going to follow Bitcoin. So if we know what Bitcoin is doing, we might as well just wait to see how big a moves ETH makes, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. So pretty much, Bitcoin is in the driver's seat, and whatever is going to happen with Bitcoin is what's going to happen with altcoins. But for those wondering, like, is something different happening with the altcoins? When are we looking to buy the potential reversal or bounce? What are you thinking, Rob? Like, I know we went over the others dominance the other day, and that then altcoins haven't taken such a hit as they usually do. Maybe that's because they're already on the floor. I don't know, but what is your thoughts on that, on altcoins?
On altcoins, I'm really tempted to start buying them now, but again, I'm waiting for signals. I'm waiting for I'm gonna have to sit there and go, like, tonight I'm probably gonna be going through a bunch of altcoins and just seeing how close they are to the liquidation levels from October, where they're at from their bear market lows from last bear market, and start getting some ideas. But once we start breaking some mid time frames SMA 9s, I may try front running some, or I just might have to, as Megan watched me so many times, like, man, it's starting to look kind of bullish out, but as soon as we get to that 1 day SMA 9, it stops and rolls over and goes down even further. So we may just wait till we get our normal signals of the break the 1 day 9, bullish crossovers, high time frame. We may just wait for that, and once those happen, we may take entry right there. Just keep it nice and simple. Not try FOMO buying the dip, because when you FOMO buy a dip, you're just trying to catch a falling knife because you're afraid you're going to miss out on a few percentage. And usually whenever you do that, which if you've done that in the past 2 weeks, you're down another 30-40%.
Right. Yeah, I was really looking at Bitcoin at 75, like, wow, this is looking good now. And it went down another more than 10K, guys. So that's what could happen. Almanim is saying Plume. Yeah, we were trading Plume in the group and crushing it with Plume. Need a minimum of 1 million of them. So are you bullish on Plume, Almanim? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, Plume has been, I think it's been trending, and we've been trading it in the group.
I saw a bearish pendant, and I shorted it. So we did a short on it. It's still not down to the listing candles. That's something that I always look for. Let me find it real quick. But before I go look at Plume, I want to show this chart right here. This is the S&P 500 index, and the yellow line is the 1 week SMA 200. And I just want to show, no matter what, pretty much, that 1 week SMA 200 is a lot of the time is a good area to buy. There's two bear market, the .com bubble, 2008 crash, we went well beneath it. But every other time, COVID-19, we just dipped our toe underneath it, but we always held it. And stock market, these are stock market rules. When you're on or under the 200, that's typically the best time to buy the S&P for your returns from where that's at. And you're always going to be in profit long term. So for long-term buyers and stuff like that, you could probably apply that same rule to Bitcoin. But you can always have those times where whenever you lose it and you go up way underneath it. So you got to be careful still and be ready for that and be able to DCA underneath it. But in time, we'll get back above it, and it will go parabolic from that level.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And those are all good things to keep in mind when you're trying to wonder now, where can we bottom out at? I think the message for today is don't be in a rush, because whatever this move is, we might just be in the beginning of it. And we might, if history plays out, wherever we bottom out now, we could have a rally and then go back down, even 20% lower than that first bottom, or something like that. So that's what we're looking at, guys. So don't be in a rush. You don't need to catch the absolute bottom. You just need to understand when things are reversing, which we are going to keep you updated on in real time in the group. Jeannie, Rob says, don't burn out, Rob. Please be sure to take them vitamins. We need you. So
definitely. Yeah, I'll be good. My doctor's appointment was for my hand. I had to get nerve surgery today, so I was at the doctor's all day for that. They poked and prodded me. They put needles in my arms and muscles, and listened to my nerves work and muscles work, and shocked me like about 300 times to see how they worked.
Yeah, so Rob had just about as good a day as Bitcoin did today. Let's just put it that way. But he made it through to the other side. And the message on the stream is, so will Bitcoin. So will Bitcoin, guys. It's going to be fine. Take a breath. Take a breather. Go outside. Chill. Stay level-headed, because it's going to be okay. Bitcoin is going to come raging back. We all know it. It's just what's going to happen now, because we want to help you make money now, and we want to help you make better decisions for your portfolio right now. But long-term, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay, so Plume. We're having a look at Plume now.
So yeah, Plume, we had a bearish pendant. We shorted it right here. we hit take profit 1, and I moved my stop loss level a little bit too early, and I actually got stopped out of it. But now, if I would have listened to my rules and just waited a little bit longer, but I was getting ready to go to the doctor's office, so I didn't. We are now down at TP2. We still have a couple more take profits down to where I'll sit there and say close trade, which is about right underneath, right around a penny or so. So we could get down to that area, and that's where I would be actually, if you're long term looking for Plume, this is actually going to be one of our 10x picks in the group, but it's not a 10x pick unless. Oh, this is not the chart here. There is a chart here. So this wick right here, I'm looking for this entry right here. This is our October wick. But there's another chart on Plume I had as well too. It wasn't on Coinbase then. I gotta find it. It was somewhere. Let's see here.
Maybe Binance.
Let's see here. That's not that one.
Maybe Binance Tether.
Sometimes it comes on Mexi. It depends on what exchanges it kind of gets listed on first. I'll have to find it somewhere else. So I can't find the chart on it, but there is a chart where we have a listing candle all the way down to here, right where this liquidation wick's at. So we do have a little bit lower to go on it, in my opinion, but we also still got to wait for our daily bullish signals on it. We got to wait for that type of stuff. And I think I also had that in the group, so we can also actually pull it up that way. I can see what it is because I actually have it in the group. And I also had our risk management plan on it, which we haven't got in any of our tax picks because they haven't given triggers. And the ones that did give triggers, we were stopped out at break even. So everything that I do have risk management plans on it as well too. So that way you don't get wrecked and you get the best dip that you could possibly get.
Yes, the dip of all dips.
It was actually a KuCoin chart.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, so like right over here is where I'm kind of looking at over this side right here. So I'm looking for the break for the 1-day 9 and hold, but we're down on this level here. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up the KuCoin chart as now right now as well too. So now I know where to look for it at. So let's go ahead and look for the KuCoin chart. So you can go ahead and pull this one up here. So I do take time looking through different charts on different exchanges to see where the listing wicks are and all that type of stuff.
Wow,
and you can see right now, we still have a good potential 26% dip until we fill this up. Then if that does hold and we go sideways and we break the 1-day SMA 9, which I'll be looking for, then potentially we get, even if we get up to all-time highs, let's see how big of a move it was, big move will be. That could be a 10x pick, but even if we just get up to this level here of like 7 cents, you're looking at 10x gains from all the way down here. Now, if we don't get down there, we won't get 10x. You won't get a 10x move unless it gets all the way down there. So a lot of times I look for those kind of pullbacks. I like we say, you want to buy the dips that make you sick. And what kind of dips will make somebody sick? It's a dip that whenever someone bought up here, it's all the way down 96%. So those are the dips usually that make you sick the most sickest. And those are the type of guys I look for.
Dips. Yeah. That's a pretty sickening dip. It's near zero.
Yep. So I look for those type of things with good fundamentals behind it. And I also still stick to risk management plan. I don't blindly buy. And it's just one of those things that I kind of do. And there's been so many good coins out there that just kind of rolled over and just died off in the long term and never came back. So right. I call these the 10x Phoenix picks because they do look like they died off. They go back. You want to see it kind of go back in a reaccumulation and then it take off afterwards. So we still got more room for downside on this one right here. So I'm not bullish on it just yet.
Right. So we are keeping you updated on those 10x picks, but more importantly right now on the potential reversal or bounce for Bitcoin and the setups that are in play. So there is a lot of money to be made on bounces like this, guys. You do not want to miss them. And it could be imminent now any day. So get in the group. The link is in the description. You'll go to our verification bot on Telegram and it'll take you to BYDFI and you'll sign up and paste your user ID and you will be in and you'll get $100 bonus. It is like, man, this is the only place you need to be right now. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And that's the value we're striving to provide you so that you can get your news, your alpha, your updates, and all the signals all in one place. And we're giving to you all for free right now. As just like a way to grow together. We're very thankful for your support. And we're 500 plus strong, guys. So it's the biggest buzzing hive on the internet. And we are going to smash it together. The underdogs are going to rise and we're going to crush it, guys. So we're already doing it. Join us. We'd love to have you there. And Rob, what do you say tomorrow? We're going to do a quick crypto and cocktail edition?
Yeah, definitely. Just gonna figure out what I'm going to drink. Probably moonshine.
Right. So I think we could all use a drink, even if it's not non-alcoholic. You're also welcome. Bring your coffee, bring your popcorn, bring your matcha, whatever floats your boat. Okay. It'll be like 10 p.m. here in Spain, so I'll be having maybe a cocktail, but you guys do you. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to look at some potential setups to start making some money. Okay. So try not to get too down in the dumps. It's going to be fine. It will pass. This happens many, many times in Bitcoin's history. And it's all good because this is the asset of the future, guys. So don't worry about it. And there we have some of the wins in the group, actually, just crushing it. So yeah, guys, lots of money to be made right now. I know that a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines and upset because their long-term portfolios are going down, but that is when the time is ripe to learn how to trade if you haven't already. And Jeannie is ahead of the game. She's saying she's already drinking. I like it. I like your style. We need to get you a Queen Bee Hive cup as quickly as possible because we need us all to be doing those. We're going to start doing, so guys, maybe even over the weekend, we're going to be doing live updates in the group only for group members. So you got to be in there. Got to be in there. That's all I'm going to say. And that's it. That's it. Rob, any last words?
No, just be ready for anything. Like, it can always go lower, and don't sit there and say it's a bottom. Wait for a revert. You can't call it a bottom till you see a confirmed reversal, and we can always get a bounce and go higher. Like, anything can happen. Just be prepared and wait for the signals to play out. Or wait for the signals to show up.
Yep, and you will see those in the Hive. So on that note, guys, have a wonderful Thursday. Almost time for Friday Crypto and Cocktails edition. We'll see you tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so cheers, everybody, and have a great day.